Hey everyone, welcome back to the Supply Chain Logistics Hub. We're going to pick up where we left off with the last video, but we talked a little bit about brokers, okay, and where they fall in the marketplace, the need for them, and again, some of the chatter I've heard and some of the pros and cons I believe they can help with. But I kind of want to talk about now as the account manager role working within a 3PL. So when I first started my career, I started out as a freight broker for about 5 months. And going back to what I talked about in the prior video a little bit was, had the opportunity to really develop some relationship with carriers, understand what they're looking for in terms of a shipper, in terms of lanes they want to haul, in terms of freight characteristics, understanding the vocabulary and vernacular, how they speak to you, and just really understanding the whole operations of what it is to be a freight broker. And then also conducting RFPs, procurement exercises, those sorts of activities. But then when I had the chance to go on the account management side, a lot of what that really entailed was trying to work with shippers, okay, in a variety of industries and help them get a better understanding of their freight, putting best in place practices, making sense of their data, building data for them so they could take internally and have discussions. A lot of what that entailed was just getting to know to understand their business. So as an account manager, I had a book of business. And I was really responsible to grow that book of business. But what I also did was just getting to know those customers. You know, for a lot of them, they were starting to outsource their transportation, right? And that's not uncommon where some of these smaller and medium-sized companies, you know, I'll say anywhere from $1 million to maybe $300 million. It's not uncommon where they might choose to outsource their transportation, okay? Because the investment in a transportation management system is very expensive. To have the IT resources available to update and manage that. That software is expensive. The changes, again, if you're going to make adjustments and changes, that can be time consuming. So a lot of these companies would come to us and say, you know, this is kind of what we're looking for. But at the same time, we would also kind of say, hey, we're going to implement what you're looking for, but also these are some of the things that we think can add value to your business. So for example, you might have an idea of, well, here's our freight budget. Okay, well, what are some other KPIs you might be looking at? You know, what's your spend and breaking out that spend? What percent are you spending on dry versus temperature control? What percent are you spending on LTL versus truckload? So kind of diving down deep into that data. Another thing is, you know, how is your route guide performing? And for those of you who don't know what a route guide is, you might go out and you conduct an RFP for your truckload lanes, okay? And you'll get pricing back from carriers. And what a route guide is, it's a list of carriers from cheapest to most expensive, and that's your route guide. And as you're tendering freight, okay, to your carriers through a 3PL or through a carrier, right, they're monitoring which carriers are accepting the freight. Is the first carrier accepting it? Is the third carrier accepting it? So this way you can kind of study, hey, why are we not having our primary carrier accept the freight? Some of these customers too, they might have multiple vendors. How are they going to manage their vendors? So we would take that task on to make their inbound more efficient, okay? Maybe they have a vendor, several vendors in a certain geographic region. And instead of having, you know, 4 or 5 LTL shipments coming out of all these different locations, why not build a multi-stop truckload to pick up all those shipments and come back? So that was one of the types of solutions we would implement. So you really had a chance to understand these customers' challenges, find other areas or other services you could offer them, grow their business, grow your book of business, and just be that, you know, subject matter expert externally. Because for a lot of these companies, right, especially the smaller ones, they might not have someone in-house that's a logistics expert. So they're looking to you to do that. And then, you know, you're going out, you're also conducting business reviews. So you're sitting in front of your customer, you're sitting in front of executives, telling them what they need to hear. And to be fair, some of these executives, they might know or have certain questions they're looking at or certain KPIs, but you know, they only know what they know, right? Whereas you as the subject matter expert in logistics, I would come in and say, here's the KPIs that I'm looking at. In addition, here's where the market is right now. You know, maybe your costs are up. Well, the market's up, and that's why you're seen cost increase. Or maybe, for example, we're studying lead time, and that's a topic and the KPI that I really have honed in a lot in my career and talk a lot about in my videos is understanding your KPI. You know, if the market is loose, and what I mean by loose market is there's plenty of trucks available, you can cover your freight, no problem. If you're giving short lead time, same day, next day, odds are you're probably going to get that carrier to cover your load. But if you're in a tight market where trucks are not as abundant, okay, and you need to get freight out the door and you're giving short lead time, you could be paying more. So we look at that KPI and have that discussion saying to the customers, why are we getting short lead time? Is it a production issue? Is it a raw material issue? So that's pushing production back. What could it be to have those kinds of conversations? Because I think a lot of companies, they'll look at freight, and I saw this in my career where our freight spends up. Why is this? And to be able to have the reasons as to why it's up, what's driving it, and then offering solutions, okay, on how to make those changes, it's really a game changer, okay? So that was a little bit of the world of account management. A wonderful experience, a lot of exposure to different companies, different verticals, how they do business. And it really kind of helped build the foundation for me. And then when I went into the shipper side, I was able to apply that same knowledge and kind of look inward within the organization, because I was inside the four walls, and kind of help them craft the right freight strategies, logistics strategies they need to succeed. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and have a great day, guys.